higher television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it, but you didn't do it.
Stephen A. Smith didn't just stir the pot. He launched a verbal tirade on the WNBA's top brass and gatekeeping vets like Sheryl Swoopes. In a take that instantly went viral, the ESPN personality put the league on blast for its lukewarm treatment of its most valuable asset, Caitlin Clark. This wasn't just sports commentary. It was a righteous takedown of how women's basketball is botching its biggest opportunity in decades.
Caitlin Clark, the people's champion! Let's get it!
That's a deep one.
Bang!
Just announced that Caitlin Clark and the Fever will be playing 41 of 44 games this year on national TV. They're coming to watch the other girl, right? Right?
Bang!
Teams are moving their games with the Fever to NBA arenas so they can sell more tickets. How about that?
Bang!
Angel Reese attempted a three this deep. I think she might dislocate her shoulder.
Bang!
You want some butter with that bread? Butter. Butter.
Butter pecan! Bang!
Here's the reality. Caitlin Clark is doing what no WNBA player has done before. She's not just putting up numbers, she's drawing millions of eyes to the screen, packing arenas like it's the NBA Finals, and making women's hoops cool for an entirely new generation. But instead of celebrating that, the WNBA under Commissioner Cathy Engelbert seems to be moving in slow motion. And legends like Sheryl Swoopes? Instead of supporting Clark's rise, they're throwing cold water on the fire she started.
You didn't want to, rather. You were a bit hesitant and reluctant and resistant to it. So much so you didn't push for her to be on Team USA. So much so you had people like Sheryl Swoopes who didn't even want to mention her name.
Smith didn't mince words. He went straight at the league's leadership, calling out their failure to capitalize on a moment that could fundamentally change the WNBA's visibility and revenue forever. In a league that desperately needs mainstream attention, they're practically sleepwalking through the Caitlin Clark revolution. According to Smith, this isn't just bad strategy, it's self-sabotage.
And everybody talk about other WNBA players not being appreciated. Nobody insulted them. Nobody dismissed their contribution. We were simply saying, despite the contributions for years and years and years, a lot of people didn't care. Fair or not, until Caitlin Clark came along.
Let's talk brass tacks. Clark isn't some media creation. She's the real deal. Rookie of the Year, WNBA First Team, yes, but also the face of a WNBA surge that's making headlines globally. And how has the league treated her? With a shrug. No press blitz, no highlight reel rollouts. Just a quiet little phone call to tell her she won Rookie of the Year. Meanwhile, lesser accolades for veteran players come with confetti and catered events.
They decided that they were going to let her know she was Rookie of the Year with a phone call in Connecticut during a practice before a playoff game. You can't make this up.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Clark's resume already includes accolades like Forbes 30 Under 30, SBJ Sportsperson of the Year, AP Female Athlete of the Year, Time Athlete of the Year, and has even taken the initiative to boost women's sports through high-profile appearances and speaking engagements. Other leagues know her worth, yet the WNBA seems afraid to admit that the league's entire business model is now orbiting around her.
But if you went the opposite direction, it could have helped that much and facilitated you being in an even stronger position to get yours. But you didn't do it. You didn't do it. Wow.
Smith's rant wasn't just a hot take. It was a mirror, a reflection of what so many fans have been shouting on social media for months. Caitlin Clark is a generational player, and instead of embracing her with open arms, the league is acting like she's an inconvenience, like she's disrupting some unspoken hierarchy that veterans like Sheryl Swoopes and current players like A'ja Wilson want to protect at all costs.
There seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark, starting with WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes herself.
And Commissioner Cathy Engelbert? Smith was crystal clear. Her leadership is the problem. Her awkward media appearances, filled with vague promises and generic talking points, reek of someone out of touch with what's really happening. When asked about Clark, Engelbert offers textbook PR soundbites instead of the clear strategy fans and players are begging for. Meanwhile, WNBA veterans like Swoopes continue to throw shade from the sidelines, downplaying Clark's accomplishments and suggesting her hype is manufactured. But Smith sees through that noise. He knows jealousy when he sees it. And more importantly, he knows that in professional sports, stars drive leagues. And Clark is that star.
You know basketball. You know basketball. You know basketball. You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop it.
If the WNBA continues to act like Caitlin Clark is just another rookie, they're not just making a mistake. They're torching the best chance they've ever had to elevate the league into mainstream relevance. Smith is sounding the alarm because someone has to, and fans are listening, sponsors are listening. The question is, will the WNBA finally wake up?
I believe there was actually a debate on who was Rookie of the Year last year. Imagine being that delusional. Bang! People need to understand she saved this league. Powder, there's no TV deals, no ad sponsorships, heck, no shoe deals for you, Angel Reese, no McDonald's money. The league losing millions of dollars each year. She saved them from bankruptcy. Time to be grateful. Bang! 93% of her games on national TV. She's like that. Bang!
But let's not pretend this is just about incompetence. There's a growing suspicion among fans that Clark's treatment is being influenced by behind-the-scenes power plays. Sheryl Swoopes, one of the league's founding icons, has made a habit of criticizing Clark under the guise of protecting the game. She's repeatedly downplayed Clark's impact, suggested she's overhyped, and even hinted that she hasn't earned her spotlight. The subtext? This league belongs to the veterans, and the rookies should know their place.
3 WNBA MVPs in your career. Would you consider each of those 3 seasons as dominant seasons for yourself?
No.
Man, I can't. Bro, Sheryl Swoopes is willing to lie about her own career before she even admits that Caitlin is dominant.
Smith wasn't having any of that. In his trademark style, he slammed that gatekeeping mindset and called it what it is: counterproductive jealousy. He said outright that Clark has already earned more media coverage, fan interest, and brand value than most WNBA players will see in their careers. And not because she's loud or flashy, but because she's producing. On the court, in the ratings, at the box office. And let's be clear, Smith's rant wasn't anti-WNBA. It was the opposite. It was a passionate plea for the league to stop shooting itself in the foot. He called Clark the ticket out of obscurity, and begged the league to stop letting personal agendas get in the way of progress. His message was simple. You don't need to like Caitlin Clark to benefit from what she's doing for the game. Everyone's watching how the WNBA handles its biggest star. And if they blow it, it won't just be a missed opportunity, it'll be a marketing disaster.
Then are you willing to admit how stupid it was for y'all not to go all in speaking your piece to elevate Caitlin Clark? So therefore, even more attention could have come and y'all could have reaped the benefits? Now you're gonna do it anyway, and I get that, but you see my point?
Caitlin Clark isn't just dominating on the court. She's redefining what it means to be a marketable athlete in women's sports. The endorsements, the sold-out crowds, the cultural buzz, all of it screams superstar. But the only thing missing is a league willing to fully lean in and let her carry them to the next level. If Cathy Engelbert and Sheryl Swoopes keep dragging their feet, they might just watch from the sidelines as the biggest moment in WNBA history passes them by. But if they wake up now, if they swallow their pride and get behind the phenom that fans are already obsessed with, this league could explode in ways they've only dreamed of.
I said Caitlin Clark, rising tide lifts all boats. As much as her presence was maximized by the WNBA, you players could have done more to assist it.
The outrage surrounding the WNBA's leadership hit a whole new level the moment Commissioner Cathy Engelbert stepped in front of a national audience. Fans were ready, eager even to hear a bold, forward-thinking plan for the future of the league. But instead of clarity or conviction, Engelbert delivered a vague jumble of corporate speak that left everyone more confused than informed. Her recent interviews on 60 Minutes and CNBC's Power Lunch didn't inspire confidence. They confirmed just how disconnected the league's leadership has become from the pulse of the game. Let's start with the 60 Minutes interview. When asked directly about Caitlin Clark's unprecedented impact on the league, Engelbert had the perfect chance to acknowledge the generational force reshaping the WNBA. Instead, she shrugged off the moment with a bland soundbite. No league is ever about one player.
I noticed when you're asking about Caitlin a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
Technically true, sure. But in context, it came off cold and dismissive. Here was a golden opportunity to lean into the Clark phenomenon. And instead, Engelbert acted like it was just business as usual. Fans weren't having it. Social media lit up with criticism. How could the league be so out of touch? Clark is the reason arenas are selling out. She's the reason millions of new fans are watching. She's the lightning rod that women's basketball has waited decades for. But instead of celebrating her, the WNBA's own commissioner downplayed her. It was a PR disaster that sparked even more questions about whether league leadership truly understands the moment they're in.
One white, one black. And so we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalry. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another.
Then came the CNBC Power Lunch interview, and things somehow got worse. Asked about the rise in rivalries and viewership, Engelbert veered off into buzzwords and vague promises. She offered no concrete plans for improving officiating, protecting players, or addressing fairness on the court. It felt like a press release on loop. Meanwhile, fans are begging for action, not taglines. This wasn't just a swing and a miss. It was a full-blown disconnect from the issues that matter most to players and viewers alike.
It's a balance, but certainly from a marketing dollars, but corporate partners are stepping up to endorse these players much more so than they were 5 years ago.
And this isn't just a perception problem. It has real, on-the-court consequences. While Engelbert talks marketing, Caitlin Clark is getting body-checked on live TV. The officiating has been wildly inconsistent, leaving fans and players guessing which version of the rulebook will show up each night. For a star like Clark, whose game is built around speed, precision, and rim attacks, this inconsistency turns her into an easy target. It's not just unfair, it's dangerous. Need an example? One game saw Clark hit with a technical foul for the heinous crime of slapping the ring post. Yes, you read that right.
And Caitlin Clark gets hit with a technical. After
I got a technical for basically being mad at myself because I missed the three and then I went and hit the backboard and he told me it was disrespectful to the game of basketball, so.
The clip went viral, not just because it was absurd, but because it laid bare the double standard. Fans immediately asked, would Diana Taurasi have been hit with the same call? Of course not. Let's roll the footage.
Put Michaela on your wedding in that group. Kennedy Carter nearly picks off the pass, and Diana Taurasi, they'll count the bucket. And one coming up for DT.
These aren't isolated incidents. They're symptoms of a league more concerned with optics than solutions. Instead of dealing with the growing officiating mess, the WNBA seems obsessed with hyping rivalries and scripting drama. But fans don't want drama. They want respect for the game. They want fairness. They want a league that takes its stars seriously and protects its future. If there's one area where the WNBA has truly dropped the ball, it's player safety. Caitlin Clark's historic rookie season wasn't just filled with jaw-dropping threes and record-smashing stats. It was also a punishing endurance test. Game after game, Clark took hits that weren't just aggressive. They were outright dangerous. And what did the league do in response? Pretty much nothing. The warning signs were flashing in neon, yet the WNBA has failed to make any serious moves to protect its most valuable star.
Yeah, and the one thing as a very long-term sports fan I know is that officiating and refereeing is always at the top of a fan's list, of the media's list. Obviously, not every, there's They're humans.
Let's get into specifics. Some of the fouls Clark endured wouldn't fly in a pickup game, let alone in a professional league. She's being targeted, and everyone sees it. Analysts are calling it out, fans are posting clips that go viral in minutes, and still, the league shrugs. No adjustments to officiating protocols, no official reviews or announcements. Just silence. If the league isn't going to protect its most visible player now, then when? Want a glaring example? Take one of Clark's most questionable fouls this season and compare it to a similar situation in the NBA. In the NBA, a comparable hit would have triggered an instant flagrant review, maybe even an ejection. But in the WNBA, Clark barely gets a whistle. That kind of double standard not only puts players at risk, but erodes the credibility of the league's officiating across the board.
Don't tell me Caitlin Clark gets a special whistle ever again. One call was an ejection and the other was a common foul. Now, let's replay this one more damn time. So I can see right here. This was the exact same damn play. Look, same play. Same play, bro. Look at this. Are you serious right here? Boom. Same play.
Crushed by Williams.
Same play. Now, Grant Williams was ejected for that.
Clark's debut wasn't just a viral moment. It was a full-blown marketing goldmine. And instead of seizing it, the WNBA let it pass like a fast break without a finish. These aren't just dropped balls. They're full-blown turnovers in a league that can't afford to lose possession. For a league craving growth, Clark was the turbo boost. And yet leadership seemed unsure whether to press the gas or slam the brakes. This leads to a more serious issue: the league's broader direction. If leadership continues prioritizing fluffy slogans and PR soundbites over meaningful changes to infrastructure and culture, they're going to stall the momentum completely. Caitlin Clark gifted them the rarest of chances, a true game changer. The question is no longer whether she can carry the spotlight. It's whether the league has the capacity and the will to meet her halfway.
This league could actually be that dense. Professional league, guys. We're not talking about a rec league. We're not talking about even a high school team. Nobody believes that anybody is that clueless.
The lack of advocacy doesn't stop at Clark either. The WNBA's storytelling this year felt hollow. Sure, rivalries sell tickets, but what about legacy? What about the deeper emotional pull that comes from understanding an athlete's journey? Clark didn't just rise out of nowhere. She came with a built-in narrative that millions had followed since Iowa. And instead of expanding that story and using it to elevate the league's profile, the WNBA seemed content to let it coast on social media memes and highlight reels.
Such an incredible moment on a global scale for our game, for our players.
It's like the fans are absolutely incredible. It's the same when we go on the road. Like there's so many people that are showing up in Fever gear. It's really affecting, teams all across our league, which is a really great thing. And, really, I think we're just scratching the surface.
Clark's magic wasn't limited to herself. Her gravity pulled in fans who had never watched a WNBA game in their lives. College hoops fans, NBA fans, international fans. She didn't just elevate the league, she redefined it. And the league should have been ready with a full media blitz to capitalize. But instead, what did we get? Silence from leadership, tone-deaf interviews from Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, and a tone that said, "We're not quite sure what to do with this success." Clark's rookie campaign was a playbook for what's possible. Her presence brought in massive crowds, shifted viewership numbers, and gave the WNBA a foothold in a wider sports conversation. But the league's inability, or unwillingness, to match that energy has left fans frustrated and questioning what's next.
We're bringing more and more fans to this league, people that have maybe never watched the WNBA before, and it kind of takes your breath away at points.
It's clear. Caitlin Clark has shown what the WNBA could be. A place where women's sports take center stage, where athletes are celebrated at the highest level, and where the next generation is inspired by what they see. But that only works if the league supports the infrastructure behind the scenes. That means better officiating, stronger player safety policies, and marketing campaigns that don't miss the mark when the spotlight's at its brightest. So now we stand at a pivotal point. Will the WNBA grow into the league Clark has helped elevate? Or will it fall back into old habits, squandering yet another golden opportunity? The ball is in the league's court, and fans everywhere are watching closely. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.